So this is definitely a really aggressive pick and something that I wonder if they are planning on taking in the safe lane like we saw Lumiere do earlier in this tournament, or if this is a, specifically a like support slash like off lane pick here, or like it could even be mid. I mean, we've seen a couple people play it mid, not all that often, but it doesn't seem like a Sammy hero to me.
No, it's definitely doesn't feel like a Sammy hero. Like you said, seen it safe lane already a few times in this tournament, and really, I think that's where Black and Yellow. I knew they were going to need to take something that could be a safe laner in this position because you're trying to be as tricky as you can be,
Hmm.
and because of these tricks, Infamous, what do you do? What do you want to lane up here? What do you actually pick? Because all of the dead ringers, I think, in the off lane have either been picked up or banned out. They would have loved Mars for themselves in this game just to get that repositioning. They could go for the LC again, but
Hmm.
at the same time, I think they're worried about being too single target. I think they need a slightly bigger spell than the duel. And of course, Sacred was doing a great job. I'd love if maybe they look at a hero like Pango, something else that he's incredibly well known for, but I think they really need to be careful with how much team fight they pick up, especially because as good as Rubik and Witch Doctor are, I feel like they're not that big team fight spell that you could be looking for. You're definitely playing against your opponent's spells. I do like the Weaver though, especially with absolutely no threat of the Bloodseeker. You really don't need to ban out a lot now to cover it.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of Sacred's like best heroes he's played. He was taking a lot of the offlane Weaver before it was popular, and just making it work. And it's really solid against the Tidehunter. If this ends up being like a 5 position Tidehunter, it's also really good against the 5 position Dawnbreaker. Ends up being a 5 position Dawnbreaker. So I think right now, like this Weaver pick is, like you said, pretty secured. You're not really worried about the Bloodseeker coming out. You could take Bloodseeker into the 1 position, but it's not great. You can go ahead and ban out the Juggernaut, something that pairs really, really well with this Witch Doctor.
10 seconds remain.
Yeah, and I think that's where if they do get that heal lineup going, Weaver is going to be able to output a little bit more damage on those towers. You have those openings, you have someone to play with a little bit more. It's still not your big team fight spell, though. Infamous are really set, I think, on doing that same lineup where they're running at their opponents constantly. They're trying to take away their areas of the map. And is Weaver going to allow them to actually do that? We'll have to see because it is a pretty beast Weaver game. Unless Nick catches you off guard here, you basically get to run through everyone else. Same with the Dawnbreaker. I don't think there are many situations where you're actually able to hit him with the Starbreaker. And anti-armor, I mean, Viper and Tide hate that. It's really hard for them both to naturally get those bugs off of them. And we see so many times the Weaver just gives you that vision that alone was hitting the boundless strikes. They weren't doing that much damage because of his buildup, but
Yeah.
he was definitely finding those disables. And with the bugs on everyone, I feel like maybe we're going to see this Monkey King just do a little bit more. Hard to say that because of how well he was playing in the early game, but in the mid game, it definitely fell off just completely flat.
Yeah, they go ahead and get rid of the Faceless Void here, so they are still anticipating that it's going to be Yamsun's hero last year. And I'd agree. I think that's the one that makes the most sense. They get out the Juggernaut and the Terrorblade. We already talked about Jug, why that's good. Terrorblade here, I think just one of the most stable carries of the patch, to be honest. What can you pick here that's going to fare well against the Weaver in lane for the side of Black and Yellow? I mean, do they want to go back for the Lifestealer? In my opinion, like it just doesn't scream a Lifestealer game here. You're against a Witch Doctor, which is pretty rough, and they ban it anyway. Okay. I guess I guess
Yeah,
I
and
guess when you have this estate of the Dawnbreaker, Lifestealer is actually pretty good. It's gonna be Leshrac.
ooh,
This might
I
be a safe lane
like
Dawnbreaker,
this.
man.
It could be a safe lane Dawn. Could be a safe lane Lesh
Yeah.
for all we know. I mean, they needed either a Sammy hero or they were going to force him to play Viper. So I like that they are going to switch it around. Most likely going to be a Jubei Viper. Can only imagine that we're going to see that shift up. But I
10
like the Lesh a
seconds.
lot. I like the agency that this hero gives and provides. And you've got it with the heal. You have the ability now where Infamous, no matter what you pick up to finally jump these heroes, you have that Solar Guardian to rely on. We already saw in a game where the Dawnbreaker was kind of getting slapped. It just makes it
Your
so
hero
difficult to actually
will make
finish
the
these kills.
ultimate choice.
Batrider is chaotic. It is going to give you that pull apart. Unfortunately, we'll have to see how it ends up playing versus the Dawnbreaker because, again, I think that's going to make it very difficult for you to actually find these picks. And now, I think Lumiere slotting him with this Monkey King does mean that we're going to see a lot more damage coming out from him, but he is everything. He's the team fight, he's the push, he's the Roche. It's what Infamous are very comfortable with, but if he falls apart, then everything else will come in tow.
Yeah, so this is actually kind of what I was expecting. It is going to be the Jubei Tide Hunter. I think
Oh,
Zero is
yeah.
just one of those people who is going to take the Viper if he gets the opportunity. I mean, I've seen him do it so many times. It's also a much safer lane against this Witch Doctor Monkey King combo. But alone on this Batrider, I mean, he's against Lesh mid. It's a pretty easy matchup for the most part. So Sammy's got to be careful with his placements. And we have Yamsun playing the Dawnbreaker. You know, we saw it played earlier in the tournament, I believe by Lumiere specifically. And I played it pretty dang well, but it is not a conventional carry by any means.
No, and it's a carry that can very easily fall into that trap where you start over rotating, start falling behind all the other cores in the game. Not to mention that you are playing Dawnbreaker carry into Monkey King. So these rings are going to be incredibly important. The only drawback I think from Infamous is everything is again about the Monkey King. It's about the team fight that he's going to be bringing to these fights. Whether or not they can make him the center focus is going to be so important for Infamous to find these kills, where I think having that more chaotic lineup and then brought back a little bit by that Lesh rack. Of course, Lesh is going to be in front. If Alone can find the Lesh, pull him under the tower, get those early picks, the Lesh slows down incredibly quickly, but you always have that easy tower push on the black and yellow side, and I think specifically Zero has been set up way more for success, and you got your lane. You're getting to play Viper versus Monkey King.
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what you want on the side of black and
Oh,
yellow,
do
right?
they swap? I mean, we'll have to see how they go for runes, but they might be dodging this one out.
I think you have to. You can't really afford to
Yeah.
put this Monkey King into the Viper lane. It is so miserable. As soon as he has level 3, you can't really contest the lane, and it's pretty easy for them to peel with the help of the Earth Spirits, so...
Yeah.
See.
And at the same time, if they do get this lane set up, then look on the other side of the map, you get to play Monkey King versus Tide Hunter, which is the battle of the tournament so far. If you get Monkey versus Tide, the Tide is just helpless. You just get to do absolutely nothing. Even though it's a 5 Tide, the same thing stands where you're just constantly a source for him to get his Jingu, and it's going to be really obnoxious for Yamsun to deal with because he's the one who's going to eat the damage after he gets his stacks. Usually it's not the Tide that feels the brunt of the force, it's his lane partner.
So they are seeing the Monkey somewhat up here in the top lane. But they are hiding this Weaver, and that's the important thing. As it cuts through this tree, Sacred would be seen, but they do see the Weaver now, so they know he's in the top lane. Question is, will they respond to it? Top, Sammy just going to grab this rune, and it looks like... Yamsun's heading top right away. Yep. So they will get the lanes that they want on the side of black and yellow. There is a nice ward here placed by Sacred, so he could force as soon as he sees Yamsun on the Dawnbreaker, he could go for the TP, but of course black and yellow would just follow them, and then at that point there is no more changing lanes.
Yeah, you even see Nick TPing bottom just because his rotation doesn't matter too much. You want to meet the creep wave here. And actually, look at the Monkey. He runs. He's doing something. I think
yeah, they're swapping lanes completely.
He's doing the long walk.
And you can see Sacred in the river popping Sakuchi. It's going to cost you a decent amount of time, and eventually will give you the lanes that you need. I think this is the right call by Infamous for sure, but it's going to be a moment before it really pays off.
You know, at the very least, you do have your support set up. That isn't going to be a huge factor here, but give a full wave to your opponents. Lumiere, well, there you go. He's got Jingu. It's sad being tied in this game, but at the same time, this is just massive now. Infamous get to do what they want. More importantly, can Zero now win with the slight lead that he got in that bottom lane? Because it is going to be slightly more difficult now for Sacred just to play, because you are a level 1 Weaver with no XP playing versus that Viper. But we'll have to see how it actually ends up happening. And
they've pulled Witch Doctor top now too, so the supports have swapped lanes now. I mean, you have to have the Witch Doctor here. This is why you picked it. Otherwise, it feels pretty rough. Yamsun on almost to level 2, and honestly, with Gush, they might be able to find a kill pretty easily using that Starbreaker.
Yeah, maybe if the hammer wasn't on cooldown, they go for that immediately. But okay,
Nice.
Okay.
Coconut doing the work there, and Jubei, gotta be careful. That Maledict, it's online.
Yeah, and he just eats so much damage. Of course, it's a level 1 Maledict. You can usually just tango through it, but once Lumiere hits level 2, that's where this lane might get even more difficult. But there is very good magic damage potential on the black and yellow side here, at the very least. And
they're going for Lumiere. That's the physical damage we're talking about. The coconut, the bounces. Will it keep you enough? And it looks like it barely is as he makes it out underneath the tower. Jubei going in real deep here, trying to bait out Lumiere a little bit, but roll in from Nick instead. A lot of damage coming in out on the Witch Doctor. The salve is there, and Yamsun's going to be able to help finish him up underneath the tower, potentially. No, he gets the coconut off. Yamsun's tanking up the tower. He needs to drop the aggro. Pops the Fairy Fire, but he gets the first blood with the Starbreaker. Still not that worth it, but you'll take at least a kill, and now Jubei on the run. Lumiere able to chase him with the Jingu stacks. Jumps in here from Little Nick. Boundless Strike, able to hit both, clean them up, get himself another kill, and you lose Viper bottom thanks to the rotation here from Nick.
Yeah, black and yellow, what have you done here? It's very fortunate Yamsun is able to get that kill with the first swing of that Starbreaker, but now you lost bottom. You cannot come back here. You're going to TP in, I think. Yeah, they're swapping the lanes immediately, but the problem is
They'll just
Lumiere
TP
has
to
it.
respond, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna swap it up yet again, and then of course you have the wave coming in, but you're just way too behind. You're playing reactively, and Yamsun's getting chased out of bottom.
He's just
no
getting dove.
way.
There's no one else with the TP. Yamsun is he gonna? He might just die here. The minus armor is a lot. He's dead.
Oh no. Black and yellow, what have you done?
Yeah. As soon as he showed his TP, Lumiere instantly followed, and they had already committed TP top on Jubei, or I'm sorry, not Jubei, on the Lil Nick Earth Spirit before that, I'm pretty sure. And then they also TP'd mid on Jubei to refill the bottle, so there was no help coming.
That should help.
Wow, yeah, that is a really bad sign here for black and yellow.
I mean, this time around, you don't have that same recovery method, and you kind of look over at Sammy Boy. Is he gonna be the one that fixes these lanes? Is he the one who's going to be able to rotate out? Because I feel like he's on the hardest farmer here for black and yellow. The Dawnbreaker, even though she is the one, doesn't really take that same position, and I don't know. What do you do now? Yamsun has to do the long walk of shame towards that top lane, and sure, things are looking good for now, but this Weaver and Monkey King are just off to the races. And look, the two cores stuck in the top lane. The Viper and the Dawnbreaker now laning with each other. And then Sammy gets solo killed by Alone. Well,
it's looking rough. Top lane, the fight does break out as they will take down A, but Viper will join him. And now with the urn picked up from Sacred, this is when the damage starts really adding up for this Weaver. He's going to get tossed back from that telekinesis. Yamsun wants to be able to help find a kill, but it's so difficult getting aggressive on this Weaver.
And now for black and yellow, you have to choose who doesn't get to have a game anymore. And it looks like they will TP the Viper back bottom. He has somewhere to go for the time being, and Lumiere does need a little bit of help here, but
He's
look at that.
TP, yeah.
Done. Yeah,
to top
and they've
lane.
got no disables. Everything is going to be on Nick. And I think Sacred, yeah, same. Trades the TPs out. You're just losing so much net worth.
If they can kill Lumiere here, they're in a really good spot. The bull forward, the gush does come out. Lumiere, he does the exact same thing Yamsun did.
I'm not a god.
Okay.
Feels good to be
Dude, this game is a mess right now. He thought he was
but
safe. He had a
Sammy-
2-level advantage. Okay, and Zero
then-
dies bottom. He does get the return kill there onto Sacred. Which
but
ends
more
up getting a lot of
importantly-
gold.
Alone gets another solo kill mid on the Sammy. I just don't understand what's going on in this game. Everybody is just dying across the board, and unfortunately, you don't get that XP from the Viper. It is a posthumous kill, but at the same time, we have to see how this game is really going to shape up. At the very least, Yamsun is finally getting the lane to himself, and once he hits level 6, he gets to break conventions. He gets to show up to that fight and that dive on the hero standing on the other side of the map, and that's something that Infamous definitely need to be a little careful about. But okay, I guess things kind of even out for black and yellow after that really rough start, but man, this is a weird game. This is an oddity.
Yeah, and the thing is like, Sammy is in such a miserable matchup already. Like, the Batrider is just so good at dealing with the Leshrac. You just don't have the burst damage to take him down. It's so easy for this Batrider to just run you over. Top lane Lumiere just gonna drop the Wukong's command. They end up missing on all of their spells. Coconut will hit for a moment to connect it with Yamsun. Sacred comes in. Zero, not quite level 6 on the Viper, and this is where you're gonna start feeling that level disadvantage. Alone comes in, but Sammy, he's right here. They just burst him down. Yamsun falling incredibly low, jumping back to the other side of the fight, trying to get on top of A. He does. The Urn not gonna be enough to finish him off. They get themselves 2 quick kills.
Well, they brought everyone. They brought literally all 5 heroes, but I think Alone really didn't know the fight that he was signing himself up for, and that's just also another really good roll in from Nick to actually find the initial damage on for that kill. But okay, Black and Yellow are definitely not out of it, but still, that is really nice. And if they can pause the game right now until this Dawnbreaker has that level 6, you're going to be farming up the exchange here, and you got your tier 1 tower. You took a fight on the carts, so fortunately for them, they're getting a lot of nice AoE gold for everyone on their team.
Yeah, this has to be one of the funniest games. It is just so much fighting and swapping of lanes. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the wrong side of the map.
Okay.
Jubei's just having a good time. This is what you refer to as space maid, I believe, in the industry. It's you know it's a term that only veterans really use.
Well, and there you go. He is going to get taken out, but Yamsun,
Yeah, he
well,
just crushed mid lane by the Batrider. It's just such a sick Batrider game, and with a haste rune, it's just that much easier.
Yeah, the haste is really what puts it over the top, and there's no natural dispels. My big worry for Black and Yellow is when they do the exact same thing. They bring all 5 members of their team. What do you really do? You need levels on your supports. That's where I
make the play onto Leshrac.
Oh,
he gets caught by the Maledict. Yeah, he's got to get rid of that bug. The Urn as well. He's got 5 stick charges. He's going to have to pop them. Stuck underneath the tier 2. Is getting the bonus regen, so it looks like Sammy just going to survive. A sliver of HP there.
And we'll have to see how Nick actually decides to make his entrance into this game. Of course, he's been involved with almost every single kill, and he's eyeing up the Rubik.
He's looking for him. Roll off the mark, but does connect with the kick. Telekinesis as well. He's got a boulder kick, and he will use it to get Yamsun off of him. And Nick might be able to keep this ticking long enough with the Urn. I think he can finish off Michael. Oh, he ends up rolling pretty far away. Refreshes the Urn as well as that Magnetize. And Nick, you gone super deep. He will trade, force 2 TPs as well, but he blew through almost all of his stones for that and his Urn charges.
Yeah, you don't have an Earth Spirit now for the foreseeable future. Just a little bit cleaner from him, and I think you get that kill over on that creep wave, but they did the Dawnbreaker ulti. They looked for Lumiere, who's getting aggressive on Sammy, but man, these monkeys with their mischief. Tree dance, man, it's so annoying. If you miss that one hit, then suddenly he just gets the lift off and just gets to run so far away.
Now you've got no one in your safe lane soaking that XP. They're just going to go ahead and push mid here on Infamous. Jubei still only level 5, so no Ravage available. But again, this Weaver is so good at dealing with the hero like Tidehunter. Nick, he actually finds him in the trees, but
I don't think he wants him, though. And no stones.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and use that lasso, find the Viper, and just burst him down so dang fast. Alone. Just flying away with this game right now.
Yeah, and they take it at really the most important moment for them. I think Jubei might have the tome coming out to him, but they know the Tide doesn't have Ravage. Sammy
into the trees. They don't see him.
What a flame break.
He tried, almost gets that stun off Sacred. Gonna be able to time-lapse his way out, and Sammy, he's just dead. Excel comes in on the Witch Doctor and just finishes him off with the Death Ward. That Spirit Vessel doing so much work from Sacred, as Lil Nick's gonna get caught as well, trying to do what he can with the Magnetize, but you don't have a Tidehunter Ravage.
Maybe Zero gets Michael here.
Yeah, he should tick out. That's 4 points in that poison attack. Zero, though, in trouble. He gets a Viper Strike onto Alone. Alone, I think, dies for this. He's gotten way too far forward. You're pretty okay with that if you are this Viper. And Jubei chasing down Excel now. Jubei, wait, where did you get level 7? He's got the Ravage. Now, sir, level 8. Jubei, the real winner of the fight. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. I mean,
dude, he just got 1,800 experience. What is this? 2 games in a row.
It's just all. It's funny because it does all just go to the Tide who blew his Ravage, so it's not like he's going to be very useful for the foreseeable future. But I mean, you got your Bat Rider kill. I think him going for the kill on the Viper is just way too greedy from alone there. Of course, he had 5 stacks on him with the Napalm, so he was already feeling pretty good about himself. But it's those little plays that we saw in Game 1 where Infamous were running away with the game, and then they get a little too far ahead of themselves, and suddenly they wind up in a game that's much more difficult that they weren't expecting or itemizing for. But, of course, we're not in that stage just yet. They still have quite the lead. Sacred still has that Spirit Vessel. He still has charges, more importantly, something that, unfortunately, Nick doesn't have the luxury of. But at the same time, you've got your Soul Guardian again. Yamsun is probably going to show up to this next fight, and at the most important timing for this Dawnbreaker, right on top of that Echo Saber being completed. So we're going to have to see how Infamous take this next engagement. If they could bait out the Solar Guardian and then clean up afterwards, that's how they want to play this. But, oh, Yamsun.
I just looked over, I was like, is Yamsun dying to something? No, he's just messing around with some ancient creeps. Finishes up the stack there. He's going to walk back.
Yeah, but at the same time, Zero is still really trying to find his time in this game. He's going for the Atos, which you almost hate to see from Vipers nowadays. It's not the worst in this game, especially with how low lockdown they are, but it's no Dragon Lance, it's no BKB, it's none of those big items that actually let you fulfill your job a little bit easier, and I think that's where we might see Zero get picked off a little bit more, because you have those harder farming heroes naturally in your lineup, and no one is looking nearly as big as Yamsun was in that first game.
Yeah, Lone's doing fantastic here on the Bat Rider. I mean, once he closes in on this BKB, he's going to feel so strong. And the difference we have here, as opposed to last game, is Lumiere on this Monkey King. He's got a Maelstrom, and he's actually farming, right? Alone tried to play a lot more aggressive, going for that, like, Orchid. Sammy going for the tower here in the mid lane. Michael's going to TP in, and he's going to get found pretty much right away. Silenced up. Nick, he misses the kick, but he's still going to be able to burn him down. But Sammy, he's got the Spirit Vessel and the Weaver on top of him. He's just dead for this. Question is, can Nick get out? Absolutely not. Maldic comes out. Lumiere comes in on the Monkey King. They will take down 2 just for some tower damage and a Rubik. And now Zero. Nice Tumbler Toy in from the Bat Rider, and the Wukong's command is there. He's just getting clapped.
Oh, no. And they make that play with full confidence because they have the hill, right? They are actually able to pull them slightly away from their tower, but unfortunately, you didn't have any way for your Tidehunter to make an appearance there. Maybe if Jubei is with them, I can see that play not being nearly as kind of single-handedly committed, but unfortunately for them, that's just a really nasty death to give up, especially on the Leshrac, who went for the Boots of Travel, and he's kind of slowing down here. He's going to be able to farm, of course. He does have that much more mana to play with, but again, without those early objectives getting knocked off early, and they might just claim this mid tower more or less for free. I think Infamous are going to make him work for it, like always, or maybe Lumiere just goes for the deny. I think it's not happening clean enough for Black and Yellow. They're smoking with the Ravage, it looks like. They want to find Lumiere in his triangle, something that they definitely can do here. How fast does he react with the Mischief?
They got vision. Oh, he's able to get away, but the Atos comes through just in time. There's going to be a Urn, but that Boundless Strike connects onto the whole side of Black and Yellow. Boulder kick there. It looks like they have accepted. They're not getting the Monkey King, and they will go ahead and settle for the Rubik instead.
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, any other lineup, I think you're pleased. You're happy, you get control over in the enemy triangle, but the further these fights break out away from those objectives, the more difficult it is for them to get anything started. They want to be forcing the issue. They want to create fights where Yamsun's going to want to join up with them, but at the same time, I'm looking at this BKB finished on Alone. Alone is just going to wipe the floor with you if you're not careful. I feel like you're going to need to Viper Strike him just to make sure he doesn't find that perfect lasso. And I like that they're smoking up. They're looking for Lumiere, I think, again, on this bottom side of the map. I think they scouted him out with the ward, but let's see.
Sammy still showing here. I mean, he's kind of baiting. The question is, will Lumiere fall for it? He's thinking about it. They're pinging right on the money, I think.
Oh, yeah, he wanted to see him with the Edict, but
TP's
at the same
coming
time,
in.
I mean,
It's going to be Alone. They get the Boundless Strike. Ravage comes through. It does connect. Can Sammy get out in time? They do. Yamsun with the save. It's enough. And Alone, he popped the BKB. He's going to be able to run down that Leshrac, but he's alone. Double kill goes to Yamsun. The bait worked out. Sammy. Certified dangler right there.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you do lose the Lesh, but now
Nick's
the
not done, baby.
Nick.
He's going mid. He's got the Urn. He's feeling himself now. He is out of mana, but can continue to drop the boulders, and he's gonna be able to find help with the help of the Atos there. And Nick comes himself his Spirit Vessel thanks to that kill.
Yeah, and more importantly, back in bottom, that is the entrance.
They're coming
That's
for
the fight
zero.
Yamson wants. Yeah,
Spirit
okay. Spirit Vessel.
Yeah, it gets the Death Ward. All right, Zero is instantly dead. The question is, can they get Sacred here on the Weaver? It doesn't look like it. A great rotation there and a nice trade. Sammy's got a Yules. If Sacred is not careful, he can burst him down with the help of Nick here. Oh, speaking of Yules, he's going to go ahead and find Lumiere here on the Monkey King. The roll in from Nick. It connects. He's just dead. Now the silence onto the Weaver. He's going to be forced to time-lapse this one if he's not careful. And oh, nice timing there. Sammy still ends up taking out 2 of the damage from those bugs, and Sacred is just absolutely styling on this game.
That's so insane from Sacred. Dodging the roll, getting all of the damage back on you, and unfortunately, Sammy Boy doesn't really have that opportunity to just Yules himself. If he Yuleses himself, it's just setting up for the next Spirit Vessel. It's setting up for those bugs to eat away at him even further. I don't know. It just feels awful, and I think until we see him maybe get an armor item or a BKB, he is just going to fall prey to these long engagements. And they need that secondary disable onto Sacred, whether they're chaining it with the Ravage or it's coming in from Yamsun Solar Guardian. If they keep letting Sacred walk over this game, I mean, there's no end in sight. Not to mention, he's got an Ags.
Yeah.
If you commit way too heavily on black and yellow now, you get that reset on a Monkey King or a Bat Rider, and then you don't have spells anymore, and you run out of damage so quickly on this lineup, whether it's the mana or just the straight cooldowns. They have to be so careful. And man, Sacred, he's just so farmed.
Yeah, he is. He is super farmed on this Weaver, and this is what always happens with him. And we've seen in like previous games, like Sacred on this Weaver has completely won games just with this Aghanim Scepter that he picks up. It is so incredibly strong. He's really smart with it, making sure to bait out as long as he can with this item, and they're going to smoke up with it, knowing black and yellow, they aren't ready for this 18-minute Spirit Vessel Ags Weaver. Like that, like you just don't expect it.
Okay, Sammy, this is the play. You want to get pressure on these towers, but that's where Infamous, if he is just a little bit too far forward, he gets cut off immediately.
Actually, almost find the monkey. That would have been very close, but it's the backside of the fight. You got to be careful. Zero is going to get the Viper Strike off onto Alone. He doesn't manage to dodge it there with the Manta, and Nick, he's going to find him, holding him in place. You got to BKB soon, sir. The Ravage comes through. They're holding him in place. They've gone onto the Weaver. The time-lapse doesn't end up netting you a whole lot. Alone, he's got the lasso now and will drop it onto the Dawnbreaker. Stuck inside the Wukong's command. Yamsun, no way out. Sammy will take down that Witch Doctor. So far, a 2-for-2 fight, but things looking good here for the side of Infamous. Little Nick trying to roll out, find more, but Alone here on this Bat Rider. He's so dang strong. Nick chasing after him, gets on top of the rolling boulder. It barely connects, and Sammy, he's gonna be able to help finish him off. Telekinesis, though, on top of Lumiere. They will trade 1-for-1 on those mid laners, and now Jubei will be the next to go down. Double kill there for the Monkey King. A very good fight from both teams. Infamous just playing slightly better and coming out a little bit ahead.
Yeah, and Black and Yellow, they did exactly what they needed to do. They dragged the fight back as far as they possibly could. They try not to give a position over, and I think this ward will end up get cleaning up. Just because they're playing so heavily in the trees, you almost know that there's going to be that high ground vision. At the same time, though, how does A find that entrance onto Yamsun? It's kind of insane that even though it wasn't the longest duration death ward, he gets behind his opponents somehow with that smoke and then gets any bit of damage onto him. And unfortunately, without BKB, and you don't really see too many Dawnbreakers going for that immediate BKB, it's always the Radiance before, you still are very killable, and it doesn't matter how many HP bars you have, that Maledict just simply does not care. I also think a little bit of greed coming out from them at bottom.
Oh, they catch the Weaver? He's chain stun down? He's dead! A nice bait once again. You're still going to lose Sammy Alone here on the Bat Rider. That BKB about to expire. Nice roll in, but it's not going to stop him as he gets the kill onto Yamsun. Falling low, they will finally punish the Bat Rider for this one, but you lost Viper as well on the other side of the map.
And I think
3 for 3 around the map, and yeah, now with Lumiere coming in, the Monkey King should make... Wait a minute, Jubei?
Michael.
Absolutely no chance, right? There's no way you're getting away.
He doesn't.
He does.
TP,
He actually doesn't see him.
Give up. They give it up. Oh no. I mean, it isn't the worst case scenario, of course, but you lost Sacred, you lost Alone. All things considered, the cores on Black and Yellow, they're not getting any of that gold, but that's still pretty big for them to just keep making these plays. And I mean, Lumiere, he
They're still
needs to
looking
show
for
up.
him. All right,
Jubei.
Jubei's been found now.
He's got the lift if they needed it. Don't ravage.
Don't ravage, Jubei. It's not the time. All right. He will go down. The question is here, with Batrider's BKB going down to 6 seconds now, does that give him a little bit of an opening? Sammy gets the DD rune here, but I mean, he got caught by the Maledict, and with Sacred chasing him down, he might die. Nice. Nice time lapse out. One more tick of the Maledict here.
Should be fine, man.
just
Not
survive.
popping your stick. He's a little bit of a psycho for not even just, like,
I was thinking, I was like,
fate.
man, he's got 16 wand charges, right? He just pops those, but he did the math. You know, he's pretty smart.
Yeah, but at the same time, both of those fights go so well for Black and Yellow because they are finding that beginning onto Sacred. Unfortunately, I think Sacred is really smart here with his item purchase. This Force Staff is going to be so good. That's how Black and Yellow are going in these engagements. It's starting with the Atos into the Rolling Boulder, or it's just simply coming from the Dawnbreaker, who plays horrifically versus Force Staffs. And Sacred.
Speaking of Dawnbreaker, instantly caught by that lasso, but the Ravage comes through, doesn't do a whole lot. Yamsun, he's dead. They're not gonna be able to catch the Witch Doctor here, but a reset from Sacred, and Zero gonna go down third, and fourth will be Lil Nick on that Earth Spirit. A perfect wraparound from Infamous on that smoke, as they will find Jubei, and this is when the strength of the Infamous lineup is really gonna shine.
Yeah, and Jubei, he thought that they were all on the low ground. He really wasn't able to react fast enough, but man, that wrap from Infamous, I mean, it's just way too clean. They lose control. They don't even have a ward placed by Black and Yellow on the high ground there. They just didn't think that the scope of that fight would explode nearly as quickly, and man, finding the Dawnbreaker at the beginning of the fight, that is just the worst case scenario for Black and Yellow. You always want Yamsun to be somewhere else, just so there's not even that thought in the back of your mind. It's like finding Spectre first. It's just nightmare situation. And when you lose a fight that close to the pit, I mean, you can only expect this much.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just gonna clean that up really fast. Sammy gonna try and push out this top lane, protect this T1 tower as long as possible, but they are on the way. Sacred.
Oh,
They fort the wave. Sammy in trouble. Sacred's here. Boundless Strike comes out as well as Michael. They got you. These guys on their rotations are so fast. They will punish you at every opportunity. He's still not closing in on that BKB. Pretty far away here for the Lesh.
And really, it's just Lumiere Monkey King. Whenever he gets his hero, they just play so quickly. And Zero, they're really dying here for these waves. I mean, it feels a little bit nasty. I really don't think you can afford this, but at the same time, what else do you do? And oh, what a tree cut bottom.
Wow.
Nice wheel played from Yamsun.
That was close.
But look at mid. You're still convincingly losing this fight in the, what, 3v5? And okay, I don't think they killed Jubei, but at the same time, you're getting the rats out of the way. You're just fixing all of your lanes while efficiently killing heroes and finding picks still. I think Infamous are just getting a little bit too much done with their lineup.
Yeah, like you said, they're really just focusing on the waves here from Black and Yellow. They want to try and stall this one out a little bit. I don't know if it's going to help them, though. They need so many items to try and be able to contest the side of Infamous and go into the triangle, but they got full vision of this. Lumiere jumping through these trees, going to get eyes onto Jubei. The ward now going to get seen as he gets that sentry up on the high ground.
Oh, I think
know
they
they're
want
over there
Nick.
somewhere. Sacred, they drop a sentry and a ward there. They found Nick. You are right. Earth Spirit in trouble. Boulder kick away. Able to roll pretty dang far, but alone is there. And the Death Ward's committed just to take down Jubei. He will trade for it. You know, Witch Doctor does die in the process. Meanwhile, Sammy is cutting at the tier 3 and alone. He's got a lasso. He's not letting you get away. Leshrac, Yule Scepter for the moment. Michael. Ooh, he's got to be a little bit careful there with that edict, but he's able to survive.
And then back mid. It's just always them running at you. And he actually has Yamsun this time, and oh no. At least there's no lasso.
Yeah, he's got TP.
Oh, it's
that
close.
is close.
It's so close. But Infamous, man, every single time they take over an area, they've done this baiting play so much in this tournament where they win a fight, they immediately ward it up, and then they leave. They completely dip out. They go to the other side of the map. They look for you going for that split push play. And then as soon as they realize that you're moving back towards that area that they have vision in, they smoke and then they find you. And Zero.
Oh boy. Yeah, he knew. They just guessed he's in the trees here somewhere. And Zero They get caught inside the Wukong's command. Just a great heads-up play from the Monkey King, just scouting it all out. Wants to make sure no one can be here.
Man,
Jubei
it's the
canceled
awareness.
TP as well.
Yeah, I think Jubei and Nick, they were gonna be there, but then it's just way too fast of a collapse because they keep on finding these trees, and Jubei is now gonna die in front of his tier 3. Is that
Well,
really gonna happen?
maybe not. They turn around. Lumiere, he's got the BKB available. Sacred trying to see if he wants to try and save it, but he's gonna be forced to use that time lapse on himself. Chain stuns onto the Weaver. Sacred's a big kill, and it looks like they will find it. You definitely don't want to go onto the high ground there. They are ready to fight on the side of Infamous. They say, I dare you. His telekinesis drops out onto the Lesh. Doesn't have the lasso quite yet, but it doesn't even look like they need it. Jubei with the Ravage connecting. The Voodoo switcheroo ends up dodging it. Michael doesn't steal. Okay, I thought he got the Ravage himself, but Yamsun, he does not stand a chance here. Lil Nick comes through, finally canceling that Death Ward alone. Finally drops the lasso he's had available for now quite a while. Will grab himself a triple kill, and they back out. Infamous, man, they are so damn strong right now and just playing with their cooldowns so perfectly.
Yeah, and they don't want to go up that hill. That's why Sammy breaks for that tier 2 tower. They know if they can start a fight where everyone on Infamous, they're getting hit by the glyph. That was probably the play. They dive the tier 2 tower, we ravage, we glyph, we get all of this physical damage onto the Infamous side, but then somehow Infamous bring it back to the choke. It's just perfect positioning from them. And then really Zero TPing in when he can't do anything and then immediately gets lassoed. It's just the button on top of everything else. But until Yamsun gets this BKB, unless he's fighting in his own Solar Guardian, it feels like there is no place for this Dawnbreaker. And I mean, what a way to use the Aegis. Just get another few nice picks and all the control now. We'll have to see what Infamous do when they eventually want to rotate towards those bottom 2 towers. But, oh, and cut Lumiere's tree. But that's going to happen.
Sometimes you just have fun with it, right? Bottled up DD rune there for the Monkey King. Now on his way to his Ioscadian. He's pretty dang close. He's got it now.
Yeah, this is really scary now. It makes your positioning matter even more. And Sammy got the BKB, okay? We can finally kill these supports on the Infamous side. If we're not maledicted, we can actually find them. If we kill the supports, both the Rubik and the Witch Doctor, they're very vulnerable. And that's where I think Nick needs to persecute them just that little bit more. At the same time, they'd love to get Sacred, but I feel like aside from that one time where Sacred gets caught after the time lapse, he really hasn't been making himself a target. And that's where, who are you killing on Black and Yellow? And okay, looking at Lumiere,
Gets
but
the split Earth. The question is, yeah, I was like, there's no follow-up for this. I think he's just trying to force the BKB, maybe taunt it out a little bit. I will say Excel in this Witch Doctor is so dang farmed for being the 5 position. I mean, the Voodoo Switcheroo, he's pretty much opening the fight so that baiting out spells, and he's managed to dodge out Ravage now multiple times with it. Bottom lane, you lose Lil Nick there.
and then the Switcheroo.
Speaking of the Switcheroo, he drops the Maledict afterwards. Sammy comes in, he just gets chain stunned into a lasso, he's dead. Zero pops his BKB, but you're inside a DD Wukong command. He just baits him out. Jubei's dead too. Double kill for the Witch Doctor. That's not the hero you want to run into in the jungle.
And
Top lane,
not to
Yamsun
mention-
found
oh,
by
no.
alone. He can just go for the TP. He will be able to make it out.
And Black and Yellow, they want to make that play because they have the ward on the cliff. They know that this is their neck of the woods. This is the place that Infamous is allowing them to play in. But then A just baits out everything on the cliff. He doesn't die immediately. They get a simultaneous kill at the same time. And then this BKB that Sammy's been working for so long doesn't even get cast. At the very least, you don't use it and immediately die, but you see they're not even glyphing for this bot Rax. I think maybe they fight around mid. I think they honestly need the glyph as damage. I think using it here just feels so terrible now because once this fight decides to refocus, do you have enough in the tank? You've got Wukong's command in 15 alongside that glass of
You've got
cooldown.
the Blink Ravage, man, from Jubei.
Let's
That's
go.
what it has to be. He goes in, he gets the Ravage onto the Monkey King. The chain stuns are there. Can they bring him down in time? They do. No buyback. They catch the Weaver. He's dead. Sammy's running down these heroes on the back line. Like you said, alone. His BKB is available, but he's going to turn around right now and drop it. Sammy in some trouble. Excel going down on the Witch Doctor. Lasso comes through. He finishes off the Lesh. Batrider, though, stuck here inside this Nether Toxin. Finally, Black and Yellow finding some kills and maybe even wiping Infamous here. 4 heroes fall. Michael trying to run Blink Dagger in one. He is going to be able to make it out.
I mean, it's perfect. It's perfectly chain stun with the Ravage. They didn't react. I mean, actually, the Monkey King did react instead of BKB, though. It was the Mischief. I think he wanted to save it to, again, play around that 10-second timing on the Wukong's command, but at the same time, that was their timing on Black and Yellow, where they could actually get these kills. And if it's the beginning of the comeback, I'm ready to believe. Catching Sacred there on the edge of the Ravage as well, and the follow-up silence from Nick. I'm really surprised that nobody has built up a Lotus Orb or any natural Dispel to deal with this Geomagnetic Grip. And I think it really is the only way that Infamous die, but if Black and Yellow can keep on finding kills like that, they're going to have Solar Guardian in another 25, and Ravage, you win a fight with Ravage, that cooldown feels way lower than it actually is.
Yeah, just because, you know, the other teams, especially late game, teams are dealing with long respawn timers. You know, by the time you get back into the game, established onto the map and ready to fight, you know, Ravage is almost off cooldown. But a lot, I mean, it's a big win for the side of Black and Yellow. The question is, you know, is it enough? I mean, they were so far behind before that fight, and they've got some heavy lifting to do. Top lane, Lumiere comes in, found the strike right onto the Leshrac. Pops his BKB. Sammy trying to run away, but not going to happen. Just melts.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too far forward. And
Yamsun? I mean, he BKB TP'd, so he's going to get a lot of healing out in the fountain. Shouldn't die to the Maledict. Lil Nick, though, might not be as lucky. He does have... Oh, he gets the tree cut. Oh, what a blink from the Weaver. Gonna go for the TP. Looks like Lil Nick is out.
Yeah.
This kid's good.
Sick there. This kid's pretty good. Not so much a kid anymore, but
yeah.
Zero. Oh.
He's gonna get found here on the Viper. Drops that Viper Strike, but just not enough damage coming out from him. He just does not want to pop the BKB for that.
No, but unfortunately, look at him. Immediately.
They smoke right away.
Back to the other side.
They saw Yamsun. Yeah.
He's out. Yeah, he feels it as well, that they are just immediately surging forward. But, oh my goodness. That is just terrifying. Can you imagine just immediately being like, I gotta go. I need to go right now, because they are coming, and they are going to lasso me and kill me alone. Sup, Bat?
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait a minute. He's on the wrong side of the map there.
Wait.
Lasso? He's got him. This is not a solo kill. I don't think you can do that. Well, maybe you can. Yamsun, BKB on cooldown for 1 more second. He gets it just in time. He's going to make it out. That is so close. Space for the Roshan, though, as Lumiere will finish that one up, grab himself the Aegis. The Shard even as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. Lil Nick top lane going 1v5 here. The ultimate test of strength. Will end up ticking out, though, to that Maledict.
I mean... That's almost insane from alone there, but at the same time, you've got this Aegis on the Monkey King. You're really out of the danger zone if you're Infamous yet again, and oh, he is big. Look at the Monkey. He's coming. I don't know if they're going to be ready for this.
Take me back to the 4 Zoomers days of gobble-upping Roshan and spinning it at the enemies. That was one of my favorite things that I have ever seen in the game.
Oh, but Lumiere knows. Yeah, Sammy... Oh, he didn't BKB TP. Does he see him?
He got him just barely on the edge. Gets the split earth here from Sammy, but yeah, this is a super dead Lesh. And that's with no buyback.
Yeah. I mean, you really weren't even doing all that much. Of course, oh, he even goes to 20 strength talent. Oh, you hate that on Lesh just because you want to be in a position to go the Pulse Nova. That's your talent. That's what you go every single game, but Sammy just feels like a target, I suppose, this time around.
There's just way too much damage coming out from the Monkey King as well as the Bat Rider.
Oh my goodness, it just feels awful. The problem with that play, though, is you're not even cutting the wave. That's been Jubei's job for the past few minutes here, and they even ping him out a little bit, but with the wave already coming in bot, they know that they don't really need to care about what their opponents are doing, and I mean, Lumiere just has the freest time ever here. I think Zero's going to try and push it out as much as you can, but what can you do right now?
And there's some huge items, man. Michael's got a BKB. Yeah. Lumiere grabbed... Well, we'll come back to it in a moment. First lasso comes through. He's got a refresher. He's not done.
Oh, doesn't even care about not having that second BKB.
Excel got an Aghanim Scepter. So your support's just got a BKB and an Ag. Sacred is almost to his Aeon Disc. Unfortunately for Lumiere, his... Courier died with his Mjolnir, but I mean, these are all huge item timings on the side of Infamous. They have a 24k gold lead. They are not willing to give this one up. It seems they are playing very, very, very smart. And Jubei Trying to buy out the refresher, 160 gold away. I mean, this is definitely a game-changing item if you can get the refresher Ravage, but Little Nick found top lane. He gets the Lotus off, reflecting that Lotus, or the lasso for a moment, but in the base, you lost Sammy? Again?
Yeah, it's just Michael, just there with the blink lift. I think he stole the split earth as well, and I mean, you can't even talk about it because Infamous are too quick, but with the BKB from Michael, now Jube needs to be so careful, and Nick, ooh, just barely TPs away, but...
He's alive. You might lose you might lose Yamsun for that. Those are the words I meant to say.
No.
Some DXs, some XDs, some Sages being dropped, you know. Lots of emotions being felt here from both teams. You do have the buyback alone. Pops his BKB. Does not want to get kicked into the fountain, I'm pretty sure is why.
At the same time, you're also just hitting tier 4s with really nothing you can do. You have the buyback on Yamsun, but
Refresher
you
Ravage
need to go
with the smoke.
on Earth Spirit. Yeah, they gotta go. They need to find, I think, alone. He doesn't have Refresher. He doesn't have BKB. He'd be the target. Unfortunately, they're just playing absolutely blind here. They can't see this bat right in the back. And
He just gets the lasso. He finds Viper. He time-lapsed alone to grief him just for fun. Still manages to get the kill. I was gonna say, that's the other thing you have to worry about is Sacred just being able to save someone with this time-lapse. And he's got an Aeon disc available as soon as he wants to assemble it. Smoke up on the backside here. Sammy, Split Earth will catch the Monkey King for the moment. He's still got a minute left on this Aegis.
Okay, Split Earths, they're down.
Jump in, Michael, the telekinesis, the refresher comes through in from alone. Jube, he goes in, but there's no one to ravage. They're all BKB'd. You're just stuck in the Wukong's command. Sammy trying to run zero, stunned up with this bash. Nick on the backside comes in, gets the magnetized, gonna do what he can, but he needs help. The Tidehunter's just not here. Michael able to keep himself alive. Jube's gonna snipe him. He wants him. He goes for the Ravage. He gets the first one. The second Ravage comes out. The call-in from Yamsun. Do they finish him off in time? They get one. But Excel, he's gonna get saved. The buyback in from the Batrider, ready to join this fight. And Yamsun, this BKB, he's just getting crushed by this Witch Doctor. The XDGG comes out. Michael with a stolen Ravage for style points. A great game here from Infamous here. Okay, this is pretty funny.
And I mean, this is the Infamous that we know. This is the Infamous we love. The 32 to 64. I mean, not only doubling up their opponents, but that is so many kills in such a brief period of time. I mean, what an easy game for them. I don't know, Lumiere really, he's the MVP, hands down. I think alone, both of them, honestly, the pair just did such a good job of consistently finding these picks around that. Stylistically, I thought this is how game one really would have panned out more, and it was how the beginning of game one was, where Infamous just find you. Split pushing versus Infamous seems so impossible. They look for you everywhere. If you don't get so far out onto the map, they get the framework, they get the preparation, they bait you into going to areas you think that are safe, and they find you every single time. I mean, putting Lumiere on Monkey King, it just feels so free for them. This is the first phase Monkey King. Of course, you had that lane shenanigans, you had them struggling to get their foot in the door on the black and yellow side, but man, execution-wise, Infamous just kind of bled them through.
It really did come down to the lanes for me in this one. I think there was just so much importance that had to come out in the first few minutes here from Black and Yellow. They had to win these lanes, but Infamous just making the decision, and the right one, to just dodge the lane, get the better matchups, and a couple, you know, like unfortunate deaths, like the dieback essentially for Yamsun as Zuzu comes back to the lane. I mean, we saw Lumiere do the kind of the same thing, but you were just so far behind compared to your counterparts in mid lane the whole time. Is just Batrider versus Lesh, and Batrider's going to win that matchup every single day of the week. And they just pull away, like you said. Lumiere and alone absolutely crushing this game, had an incredible performance. But yeah, this is the Infamous we have come to know as they you know, solidify themselves in the top of the group stage. But we got so much more Dota today. We got 2 lava series coming up next. The first one is going to be against 4 Zoomers. So some of the best teams of the tournament. Super excited for this series is going to be coming up. So stay tuned, everyone. We got some sick action here on the BTS Pro Series season number 9. And enjoy some tunes. We'll see you after the break.